For many people, retirement is a time to enjoy life, to reap the benefits of working hard your whole career.
Having someone to share it all with, well, that makes it all the sweeter.
For 69-year-old retired broadcast executive Stephen Beard, finding love later in life means enjoying the company of his 32-year-old wife Celeste, surrounded in the comfort of his hard-earned riches.
Within 2 weeks of meeting Steve, Celeste had moved into the house. Within no time, they became a couple.
On the evening of October 2nd, 1999, the warmth of Stephen's good fortune turns cold.
You don't expect a brutally violent crime to happen in a sleepy, wealthy suburb, but it happens.
Love and money can be a toxic combination.
And Stephen Beard's murder will lead to a jealous rage that ensures his killer is finally caught. Stephen Beard is a highly successful businessman. Working at the local Texas broadcasting affiliate, he starts from the bottom and works his way up to become an executive and station co-owner.
Steve Beard was a really good businessman. He had this big smile and a big laugh.
Stephen is so successful at making TV, well, that when he retires, he's a multi-millionaire.
But as his finances flourish, other aspects of his life struggle. Shortly after he retires, Stephen's wife of 42 years, Elise, passes away in October of 1993 after a battle with cancer.
He and Elise had had a lot of friends at Austin Country Club, and he was devastated when she died.
All the money in the world can't bring Elsie back, and Stephen finds himself living alone in his sprawling mansion in Westlake, a wealthy suburb in Texas.
To get past his tragic loss, Stephen tries to make the most of life. He is often found enjoying a round of golf and a meal with friends after the game at the Austin Golf and Country Club.
It's there where Stephen sees a beautiful young waitress named Celeste Martinez at his club in 1994. He is instantly smitten.
With Celeste in his peripherals, Stephen now has a new reason to have lunches at his fancy country club.
He makes a big effort to get to know the charming Celeste better. Being wealthy and retired, he has all the time in the world to make a good impression. After multiple attempts to impress the young woman, well, it finally works. They start dating.
Even though Stephen is 69 and Celeste is just 32. Age is no barrier to their love. And on February 18th, 1995, they marry in front of family and friends. Celeste's 13-year-old twin daughters, Jennifer and Christina, are in the middle of the small wedding party.
The girls were just really fun, nice teenage girls. They were popular at school. They were really into animals.
Stephen has a whole new lease on life. He not only has found someone he's obviously wild about, he's also gained a family to warm his home and fill his heart again.
Meeting Stephen is also a dream come true for Celeste Martinez.
Celeste goes from working 3 jobs at a time to make ends meet to moving into a mansion in the affluent suburb of Westlake, Texas.
Some say finding true love is like winning the lottery. When Celeste marries a multimillionaire like Stephen Beard, she actually does.
Celeste comes from a difficult background, as she was placed in the foster system at a very early age.
She claimed there was physical abuse at the hands of her adoptive father, Edmund Johnson, and even said it led to her first attempt at suicide as a teen.
By the age of 17, Celeste became pregnant with her twin daughters. Deciding to marry the father of the twins, Craig Bratcher, the relationship falls apart.
To make her life even harder to adjust to, Celeste finally meets her biological mother and was told, "I'm not your mother, I was just your incubator."
Celeste marries another 2 times, but each marriage doesn't last long. Generally speaking, she had a tough go at life through her teens and 20s, constantly in flux.
By the time she was in her 30s, Celeste was a single mom with 3 failed marriages behind her.
Before Stephen, Celeste never really feels like she fits into the world. Now, she not only belongs, she has a seat at the best table.
Being with Stephen, Celeste is surrounded by money and security, not only for herself, but also for her teenage daughters.
Stephen welcomes his new twin stepdaughters, Christina and Jennifer, into his life. He is warm and kind, trying to make them feel welcome.
Stephen tries to give Christina and Jennifer love and affection. He is a caring and supportive man. He wants them to feel happy in his home.
Steve was really dedicated to the girls. He was really trying to make the marriage work.
To go from being a lonely widower to a full-fledged family man is a huge relief for Stephen. And thanks to his hard work and careful financial planning, he has ample means to take care of his new family.
It would only be natural to want to treat Celeste and the girls and even spoil them with all that Stephen has to offer financially.
Stephen and Celeste are the picture of happiness together. His lonely days in his big empty house are over.
He goes out of his way to provide for them. He even gives Celeste her own credit card with a huge $35,000 per month spending limit.
Stephen soon becomes concerned with his new wife's spending habits. But he can afford it. And he is happy she is enjoying the opulent life that he can provide for her.
Blended families can take a little getting used to, and there is absolutely an adjustment period. But if everyone is on board to make the effort, well, the blended family can be just as strong, if not more so, than a traditional family.
Over the next 4 years, Stephen, Celeste, and the girls become a bonded and solid family. They enjoy going on vacations together, seeing the world, and hosting lavish parties at their big home for family and friends. The family becomes so close that in 1998, Stephen Beard takes the significant step of adopting the now 17-year-old twins, Jennifer and Christina.
He is happy to provide a good, stable, and secure life for the twin girls, and they're lucky to have such a caring and generous adoptive father.
Celeste has accomplished her primary goal, to make sure her girls are well cared for.
The twins' biological father died a few years before she met Stephen. Now her daughters have an adoptive father who can make sure they are financially secure and living in a stable home.
Stephen cares a great deal for the girls. He will make sure they have a solid future. But on the night of October 2nd, 1999, this new family's future goes out the window. When Stephen Beard is shot in the stomach while sleeping in his own bed. When retired millionaire Stephen Beard first lays eyes on Celeste Martinez, a waitress at the Austin Country Club in Fort Worth, it's love at first sight. After the two are married, their love grows to include Celeste's twin teenage daughters, Jennifer and Christina. The three women move into Stephen's sprawling Westlake, Texas mansion. They are happy together in Stephen's big, lavish home. On the night of October 2nd, 1999, this family's fairy tale life turns into a terrible nightmare. Police are called to the Beard home by Stephen's frantic 911 call. Deputy Alan Howard from Travis County is first to arrive on scene.
The home is dark, and there's no immediate answer at the door. 911 dispatch informs the deputy that Stephen is still on the line and is in fact still inside the residence.
Stephen has called 911 himself. He's in pain, disoriented, and unaware of even what has happened to him.
In this case, it makes sense for 911 dispatch to immediately send law enforcement to the home. Since the information Stephen is given on the phone line sounds definitely serious.
Deputy Howard needs to get inside the home. When he looks through a window, he sees a grisly sight. Stephen Beard is lying on his bed, gravely injured and bleeding. No option. Howard smashes a window for entry.
It's a bad scene to come upon. Large wound in need of immediate attention. Mr. Beard's stomach is torn open.
He thought that his abdomen had just burst open. The wound was so bad that his intestines were coming out of the wound.
Deputy Howard can't actually tell what has happened to Stephen. And when his colleague, Sergeant Gregory Truitt, arrives shortly after, neither can he. So, you know this is a bizarre case right from the start.
Initially, officers believe Stephen must have had recent hernia surgery and has perhaps blown an incision. It isn't immediately apparent what has caused Stephen's stomach injury.
All they know right now is there's a lot of blood and he's in a lot of pain.
EMS crew arrive and begin to work on Stephen. They quickly determine that he will need to be airlifted to Brackenridge Hospital in nearby Austin.
When Sergeant Truitt comes into the hall, he finds Stephen's wife, Celeste, along with Christina. Celeste says they've been asleep in a separate wing in the home, and she's confused why these officers are there. Celeste tells Truitt she didn't hear police knocking or calling to Stephen inside the home, and the officers note that she looks confused.
Sergeant Truitt explains to Celeste that her husband is gravely injured, and a helicopter is en route to medevac him to the nearest hospital.
When Celeste hears how seriously injured her husband is, she becomes frantic and pleads for the emergency crews to help him. She desperately tries to get to Stephen, and Christina helps hold her back and tries to calm her down so the EMT crew can work effectively.
A uniformed officer calls Sergeant Truitt over to look at a single spent shotgun shell found lying on the floor next to Stephen's bed. When he sees the shell, Sergeant Truitt clears the room. What initially looked like a medical emergency has now become a crime scene.
The police were processing the house, and they found the casing from a shotgun shell at the foot of the bed. And at that point, one of the cops looked at the other cops and said, we've got a murder here, we've got a crime. If the victim dies, it becomes murder.
Once police determine that a crime is being committed, the area must be locked down so investigators can collect evidence.
Police searched the home to try to determine who might have shot Stephen in his own bed.
Normally, it would be standard procedure to try to interview family and potential witnesses as soon as possible.
The first hours after a crime is committed are crucial to painting an accurate picture of what has happened.
As police continue to search the scene for clues, Stephen Beard is airlifted to Brackenridge Hospital in nearby Austin, where he will need urgent surgery to keep him alive. Either this is a robbery gone wrong, or someone has it in for retired millionaire Stephen Beard. What happened to him on this night? And more importantly, why? When Stephen and Celeste Beard are married on February 18, 1995, it marks a new beginning for both of them.
This was a second chance at love for a new family and the chance of a promising future together.
But on a fall night in 1999, that promising future comes to an ear-shattering end. Stephen Beard is shot in his stomach. He is rushed by helicopter to Brackenridge Hospital in nearby Austin, where doctors perform emergency surgery to save his life. While police investigate the shooting, 69-year-old Stephen Beard is fighting for his life.
Stephen's injuries are extensive. A shotgun wound to the abdomen causes all sorts of complicated damage.
He receives immediate surgical care to repair the wound, and he's placed in the intensive care ward.
Meanwhile, police seal off the Beard family home as they begin the meticulous task of collecting evidence from the crime scene.
So now police would be looking to see if some things appear to be missing. Stephen's wallet, important documents, money.
They would also be looking for points of entry to the home, fingerprints, and anything else that looks out of place.
Police note that Stephen's wallet and a money clip of cash are missing. But other things that would be easy to take, like his watch or the keys to his car, are untouched.
Was this a robbery gone wrong, or was there a plan behind what's happened here? Or did Stephen surprise an intruder? It's a meticulous process.
In most cases, a robber doesn't intend to harm the homeowners. They just want to get in, steal the valuables, and be on their way. If the intruder gets interrupted in the act or gets spooked, that's where a robbery can become assault, or worse, murder.
Typically, in the instance of an intruder being caught, we will see signs of a struggle between the victim and the perpetrator. But Stephen Beard was apparently asleep when he was shot, which is highly unusual for a robbery.
Police ask Celeste and her daughters if they know anyone in business or the local community who might want to harm Stephen Beard.
Stephen in a dispute with a neighbor or past work associate. Is there anyone on the horizon who harbors a grudge against this retired broadcast executive?
Celeste tells investigators she didn't hear a thing. Not the gunshot, Stephen's calls for help, or even the police banging on the door when they responded to Stephen's 911 call.
It's unusual for someone in a house at night not to hear a gun going off, but the shooting happened a little after 3 a.m. and it's a pretty large house.
Celeste explains to police that she was asleep in another wing on the other side of the mansion.
So is it possible that she didn't hear anything? Yes. But is it possible that she did? Also yes.
What the police needed was something unique to stand out in the investigation, but there was very little at the scene.
As Sergeant Truitt and his team finish their crime scene work at the Beard home the next morning, Truitt is told someone has phoned in a hot tip about a possible suspect. It seems that Stephen's attacker may be someone who is well known to the Beard family.
When we see this kind of deliberate violence inside a private home, in a bedroom for that matter, it's natural to consider that the victim is known to their attacker.
So now, police are getting a tip that someone who knew Stephen and was a family friend was potentially involved. This is a lead you should seriously follow up on right away.
The hot tip police get relates to a 37-year-old friend of the Beard family, Tracy Tarlton.
Tracy had had a difficult childhood where she'd been abused, and she'd been suicidal off and on. And she's very bright, very funny, but rather troubled.
Tracy Tarlton is interviewed, and she tells detectives she's been friends with Celeste since early 1999. So it turns out Tracy met Celeste when they were both being treated for mental health issues.
The two women were at St. David's Pavilion, a mental health facility where Tracy sought treatment for bipolar disorder.
Celeste was there seeking treatment for depression. Many people struggle with mental health issues, and Celeste has her share of life experiences to resolve. She was adopted, she was a teen mom, and she had a string of failed, abusive relationships.
Any one of these life experiences could contribute to depression and lead someone to seek treatment. And that's just what Celeste did at St. David's.
Celeste and Tracy form a fast friendship while they receive counseling together, and their affection carries over to the rest of the Beard family. Tracy quickly became a frequent guest at parties and casual get-togethers at Stephen and Celeste's opulent home. When police look into Tracy's past, they find that she has been arrested for drunk driving.
And the interesting thing with that incident is it was Celeste who bailed her out.
Of course, Tracy is grateful, maybe even too grateful. She starts to really rely on Celeste and calls her constantly.
So much so that Stephen tells his wife the calls have to stop. And significantly, it appears that Tracy doesn't take Stephen's intervention too well.
Detectives now have a reason to consider Tracy Tarlton a suspect in Stephen Beard's shooting.
Police also want to connect Tracy to that spent shotgun shell they found in Stephen's bedroom.
Detectives call for a ballistics report on the empty shell, so they know the type of shotgun it is used in. The ballistics report can match a used shell to a specific gun, so as evidence, it works like a fingerprint match.
When Sergeant Truitt asks Tracy if she owns any firearms, she admits to having a custom shotgun.
They went and found the shotgun up on the shelf, and Tracy was arrested.
This shotgun was apparently given to Tracy as a gift from her father. It's customized and even engraved with her name. She willingly surrenders the gun to police.
It turns out that the spent shotgun shell retrieved at the crime scene has a unique pattern.
That pattern matches quite a unique barrel of the custom shotgun owned by Tracy Tarlton.
Police are now convinced it is Tracy Tarlton who shot Stephen Beard while he lay asleep in his bed.
She parked the car. She walked along the back of the garage. She came in the patio doors. She entered the bedroom. Steve was in bed all alone, sleeping, and Tracy raised the shotgun and fired. Then she went out the open doors and escaped through the side door in the bedroom.
On October 8, 1999, Tracy Tarlton is arrested and charged with assault in the shooting of Stephen Beard. To police, it looks like this is officially an open and shut case. But appearances are deceiving, especially when they find out this is only scratching the surface as to how deep the truth goes. In the fall of 1999, retired broadcast executive Stephen Beard is enjoying a new family and a new chapter in his successful life. Stephen's younger second wife, Celeste, and his new twin stepdaughters, Jennifer and Christina, are giving Stephen a wonderful second act. Then, a brutal shotgun attack in his own bed puts Stephen at death's door. Detectives quickly get their prime suspect in custody, family friend Tracy Tarlton.
Tarlton's custom shotgun matches an empty shell found at the crime scene. This case is already looking open and shut.
Police are keen to ask Stephen Beard about who might want to hurt him and why.
Detectives have heard rumors that there were some rough patches in Stephen and Celeste's marriage. Some people said Celeste had spoken ill to them about her husband. Stephen's still in intensive care, and his medical condition is so serious that police can't interview him yet, and certainly not without Celeste at his side.
When investigators speak with the couple's friends, Anna and Phil Press, they are told that Stephen and Celeste didn't seem to have any major problems in their marriage.
And when detectives see Celeste at Stephen's side in the hospital every day, making sure he's getting the best care, police chalk up the negative talk about Celeste to unkind rumors.
Stephen Beard has been seriously injured in the shooting. He has lost a portion of his colon and he needs a skin graft to close the wound. It's not just the immediate internal injuries that are at issue for Stephen. Infections from surgery can often lead to more medical complications.
He was home a brief period of time in January when she took him back to the hospital because he was spiking fever. He got an infection and ended up back in the hospital. Shortly after that, he died from the infection from the wound.
On January 22, 2000, 4 difficult months after he was shot in the stomach with a shotgun, Stephen Beard succumbs to his injuries. He dies in hospital of a blood clot.
Tracy Tarlton will now be charged with Stephen's murder.
Motive is a big factor in the investigation and conviction of a suspect in a violent crime.
Tracy admits to shooting Stephen, and she tells detectives she did it because she is in love with his new wife, Celeste.
Tracy tells police she wanted the relationship to go beyond just a friendship. And love is a powerful motive for murder.
Tracy is locked up awaiting trial several months later when she sees a wedding announcement. The woman she loves, Celeste Beard, is getting married again. Celeste marries Spencer Johnson, a carpenter, just 6 months after Stephen Beard dies from his gunshot wounds.
It's not really a long time to wait after your husband is tragically murdered in your home to then go on and tie the knot with some new guy.
In 2002, Tracy was facing trial. It was a murder charge because by then Stephen died. She saw in the newspaper that Celeste had married. And at that point, she started to realize that she'd been used, that she'd been manipulated by Celeste to kill Steve.
News of Celeste's latest marriage sets Tracy off, and she offers police a bombshell in the Stephen Beard case. She says Celeste made her do it.
Tracy claims Celeste emotionally abused her to the point that she wanted to commit suicide.
So when Tracy flipped, they pressed charges, and that was in 2002. That was 2 years after Steve's death. They finally pressed charges against Celeste.
Celeste made it plain as day to Tracy that the only way they could be together would be if Stephen Beard was out of the picture.
She told Tracy that she had painted Steve to Tracy as an abusive husband, one who was psychologically abusive to her.
Tracy Tarlton admits to the shooting of Stephen Beard with her custom shotgun, but it's her love for Celeste and the jealousy it brings that will eventually unravel the entire truth to the murder. After loving husband and father, Stephen Beard is brutally shot while asleep in his own bed. Police quickly apprehend the shooter, family friend Tracy Tarlton. When Stephen dies from complications in the hospital 4 months later, the charge against Tarlton goes up from aggravated assault to murder.
And that's when things get really complicated. The accused, Tracy Tarlton, has bombshell news for investigators. She was not acting alone.
Tarlton admits she is in love with Celeste Beard, and jealousy is her motivation for shooting Stephen.
And now, Tarlton tells police she did it to help Celeste, after Celeste told her she was being emotionally abused by Stephen.
With new information that Celeste Beard may be the mastermind behind the deadly attack on Stephen, detectives reopen the case.
This time around, police hear from people close to Celeste who say they suspected her of marrying Stephen for his money.
He had given Celeste expensive jewelry. He built her a mansion, a beautiful, beautiful home in one of the really elite parts of Boston in a gated community. But nothing was ever really enough.
Celeste's twin daughters, Jennifer and Christina, reveal that Celeste took a big allowance of $35,000 from Stephen every month of their marriage.
Stephen was generous with his new wife. He gave her a $500,000 trust, which she blew through in just 6 months.
Toward the end of Stephen's life, tensions were beginning to build in the couple's relationship as Stephen tried harder to curb his wife's wild spending.
Jennifer and Christina admit they are afraid of their mother, saying they have witnessed bizarre and sometimes sadistic behavior from Celeste.
They say that she would sometimes cheat on Stephen with her former husband, Jimmy Martinez.
They sometimes referred to her as Mummy Dearest, and we all know what that Hollywood family was like.
Detectives are getting a much clearer picture of Celeste Beard, and it's an image that is far from flattering.
Celeste is one of those people who is unhappy within themselves, and no matter how much money or how much adoration they get from other people, it's never quite enough to fill that up or make up for it.
In April of 2000, Christina and Jennifer begin recording their mom when she gets abusive with them on the phone.
The girls present their tape recordings to authorities to back their story.
On one of the recordings, Celeste actually tells Christina that she hired someone to kill Tracy. And for the detectives, it can't be ignored.
Police comb through the newly gathered evidence to make sure these claims are real, and not just angry gossip against Celeste.
Police will gather detailed financial information, interview more witnesses, and work to build the best case possible for prosecutors.
In early March 2002, shortly before her murder trial is due to begin, Tracy Tarlton cuts a deal with prosecutors for a reduced sentence, in which she agrees to testify against Celeste.
They had the kids' testimony, so when Tracy flipped, they pressed charges.
with a raft of new information, including interviews and recordings. Along with Tracy Tarlton's damning confession, detectives have what they need. They arrest Celeste Beard Johnson on March 28, 2002, on a charge of murder. Tracy Tarlton takes the stand in the 2003 trial against Celeste Beard.
Tracy took the stand. It was really important to the prosecution that she come off as a reasonable person, a believable person. She was great on the stand. She was very calm, very matter-of-fact.
Tracy recounts to the court the entire plan, how she shot Stephen while he slept, and then, as she was leaving, decided to make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Unsuccessfully, obviously.
Tracy also testified that Celeste was supposed to come and take the spent shell casing after she shot Stephen.
She somehow thought there wouldn't be anything to connect her to the crime, even though she owned a custom shotgun.
Both of Celeste's daughters give damning testimony against their mother, saying that Celeste made it no secret that she actually disliked Stephen.
Well, when the girls took the stand, it was really pretty amazing. I mean, it's not very often you have daughters testifying against a mother.
They tell the court how their mother would mix Stephen's drinks with Everclear instead of vodka.
Everclear is a brand of grain alcohol that is notorious for having a much higher alcohol content than regular vodka.
They told the court how Celeste would crush and mix sleeping pills into Stephen's food so she could sneak away in the evenings after he passed out.
This is devastating testimony against Celeste, where defense lawyers have a challenging task to prove her innocence.
In late 2002, Tracy Tarlton receives a 10-year sentence, reduced in exchange for her testimony against Celeste Beard Johnson.
Sometimes you need to cut a deal with a witness, even one like Tarlton, who actually pulled the trigger that killed Stephen Beard.
So now it's one down and one to go.
Celeste Beard Johnson is arrested and charged with capital murder in the death of her husband, retired millionaire Stephen Beard.
She is defended by well-known trial attorney Dick DeGuerin, who is known for being a colorful character in the courtroom. He's a very successful defense lawyer in Austin, with a reputation for defending high-profile clients.
In court, DeGuerin argues that Tracy Tarlton was madly in love with Celeste. It says that obsession turned into a murderous jealousy.
The problem for the defense was that the prosecutors had multiple witnesses. In addition to the girls and Tracy Tarlton, there were people that Tracy worked with, friends of Tracy's who'd seen the two women together in very intimate situations.
To back up Celeste's claims, the defense presents witnesses who saw Tracy trying to kiss Celeste at a party.
The defense then presents evidence of Tracy Tarlton's known mental instability and her treatment for mental illness.
The bottom line, DeGuerin argues that Tracy was unwell. She acted independently, and Celeste had nothing to do with it. DeGuerin also argues that Celeste's daughters are lying about their mother's abusive behavior. He points out that if Celeste is acquitted, neither daughter will inherit any of Stephen's money.
The prosecution counters that Celeste is a gold digger who only married Stephen for his wealth. After she got a ring, she wanted him dead because he kept nagging her about spending too much.
The prosecution argues that if Celeste divorced Stephen, she could only receive a small slice of Stephen's fortune.
There were financial reasons for Celeste to want Steve dead rather than divorced. There had been a prenuptial agreement, and In it, she was only entitled to $500,000 out of Steve's multi-million-dollar estate if they got a divorce. But if Steve was deceased, she got a portion of the estate. So she was under the impression that if Steve died, she would walk away with a lot of money.
And with Stephen dead, Celeste gets to keep it all.
The prosecution lays out a case showing that Celeste orchestrated Stephen's murder so she could maintain the lavish lifestyle she had become accustomed to. Finally, prosecutors call Stephen's accountant to the stand, who testifies that Celeste burned through more than $600,000 in just 6 short months.
DeGuerin does his best for his client, but in the end, there was just way too much evidence against Celeste Beard Johnson.
3 years after Stephen Beard is shot as he lays sleeping, defenseless in his own bed, Celeste Beard Johnson is found guilty of his murder.
The jury deliberates for 2.5 days before convicting Celeste Beard Johnson on March 19, 2003, of capital murder and injury to an elderly person.
In the end, Celeste was convicted and she was sentenced to life in prison.
Celeste Beard Johnson nearly got away with murder, but when she spurned the lover who killed her husband, she wound up finally caught.